Hey guys, I'm Raghulan, CEO of Virtual Technologies. Today I'm going to talk about emotional intelligence, how it actually plays a major role being a leader running a company on a day-to-day basis and even on a personal level. Emotional intelligence is the intelligence to understand how your own emotions work and then others' emotions work and then use it to get a positive outcome. And it might actually sound pretty simple, guys. Trust me, this is a lot more complex. And especially when you're running a company with a lot of human capital, and it's very important that you address these things pretty effectively and have a system to mitigate these ones. Many companies wouldn't even have a system or policies or guidelines to solve some of these basic emotional intelligence issues. So let's get through these things. To understand this bit more, I'll ask you a question, guys. Tell me, what are the emotions that you have, and out of which are the ones which makes you bit more less productive or not being productive at all? And most of the time, if you look at it, you will finalize into two different emotions. One is basically you being sad, another one is you being angry. Now let's put into a practical test. Okay, you got a staff one and who's pretty upset and depressed, and you go to him and say like, can you do this work? And he's going to respond by saying that no, I'm not in a mood to do, I cannot work. And he's going to politely refuse it, but technically he is not going to do the work. Even if he is forced to work, he's going to be working with a very poor efficiency of him. And if you go to the second staff now, and this guy is pretty upset and pretty angry, and so now if you're going to do this, ask this guy, okay, can you do this job? And he's going to say like, I'm not going to work, I will not work. Now if you see like the response between the first guy and the second guy, the first guy is politely refusing it but still not going to work. The second guy straight away bluntly he refuses and says like, I'm not going to work. Now these two emotions are something that which generally have to be handled pretty precisely when it comes to your staffs in your company, guys, and especially your clients as well. So now let's go into a bit more scenarios as well. So first thing is like a staff comes to you and then he complains that saying that no, my chair is getting stolen often and I'm not happy about it. I've said this like 3-4 times to the HR and the issue is not getting resolved. Now if you say like from a leader perspective, like, you know, out of all the problems that you handle, and this might be looking like a very petty thing that, okay, why do I have to care? It's just a chair, just go and grab another chair. No, but the thing is like, this issue escalated to you, not because, you know, this is the first time and the staff is like, you know, trying to create a scene or something. It's just because he is not able to resolve this issue by himself. And he went into another person who's supposed to resolve it, and that person is not also doing it. And now he is upset. And this is a place he's spending most of his prime time of his life, between 9 to 5, between 25 years to 50 years of his retirement. This is the place he's going to work, and that's a place he's not happy about. And that's something we need to take it seriously. As I said, sadness and anger, these two things makes a person very less productive. Now, how do you resolve this one? Take the problem seriously, put some action into it, get it resolved, put a label behind the chairs, and make sure that no one steals your chair. Give him a solution and make sure that you follow that up as well, so he knows that you actually takes care of him. So that's sort of affirmative that, you know, you're looking into your staff and you're taking care of them and you're listening to them. All of things makes a positive impact. Now if you look at it, he comes to you with a negative emotion, and now you're turning that emotion into something that he's going to be loyal to you. He's going to be working hard for your vision just because you spent, let's say, 2-3 minutes of your time and taking care of his need. And it's going to be very simple things, guys. Another thing, let's take a look at another emotion which generally happens between an employee and a client. Let's say most of the companies, they have Friday, they generally send a status update to a client saying that, oh yeah, we have finished all these things as per schedule, and you can happily enjoy your weekend. Now the client, of course, is paying money, and he's going to be pretty anxious to finish this work because his greatest future depends on your abilities. Now this client who's trusting us with his vision, and he expect an answer on Friday to see like whether we are going as per the schedule. And most of the time what happens is like, if you're not able to finish the work, most of the employees, they think in their mind that, okay, if I'm going to send an email saying that I didn't finish these 2 points, he's going to be upset. Instead, let me do this work tomorrow or Sunday or probably on Monday, and then let me finish it and then send an email saying that I finished all this work. Then the client is going to be, okay, that doesn't work that way. You have to understand how the other person thinks. He trusted his vision to you, and that vision, he's going to think about it because he's going to have more time on the weekend compared to the weekdays. So he's going to keep thinking about just this vision for a long period of time compared to the weekdays. Now you have to give him some good news to think about it so he is happy. So if he is upset over the weekend, it's going to reflect back on a Monday, and that's going to ruin a lot of people's day. So let us take care of those emotions as well, guys. You have to think about how the people that you work with and what your actions is going to impact and what emotions it's going to trigger. So that way you're not actually triggering these emotions which might actually result creating a toxic environment for you. And next thing is like miscommunications. So most of the time miscommunication happens when someone is not understanding or listening or even responding on time. This is all the factors that affects a miscommunication. And some of these things will actually result in triggering some emotions as well. A person with high emotional quotient generally respond to communications pretty well. He listens to it fully and he responds it. He don't react. That's one of the coolest things that I always tell my employees. Whenever someone is upset, whenever someone is angry, don't react. Just respond. Respond is a lot more cooler compared to being reacting to it. And then we also have a reward system. Whenever people are proactive in listening to client communications and responding with proper emails and stuff like that, we always give them rewards and perks and stuff. And next one is like everyone is valued generally in my company. The growth plan that we set for an employee, I don't want them to be something that they are satisfied with a pretty designation. So all my employees who work for me, I always have a personal growth plan. Even from my designer to tester to developer, everyone has got a growth plan. I have plans for everyone who is sticking with me so that they also feel valued working for you. They just don't work for money anymore. They work for more than just money. They trust in your vision. They want your vision to succeed, and they are the people who is going to bring your vision to life. And if they truly believe in your vision, it's going to be a lot better vision that when people look at it. So that's one of the important factors. And next one is lack of motivation in your workplace. And this could be a result of a lot of interpersonal conflicts and emotions which is not handled properly between the workplace and the teaming. And all of these factors will actually result in lack of motivation, which will generally affect your productivity by a later bigger scale. To do that, we have to make sure that people are included in your vision. People should know that they are included in the vision. So that's one of the things, like most of the companies that I build, the people work for the company. When the company grows, they're going to get a bigger perk and they're going to be part of it as I grow along with them. So that is why, like, being a small company, like, you know, like we are like around 30 people and stuff. And we have staff members who are still with us from the time we founded till I think from 2012 or something. Like, they've been with us for the last 10-12 years. And that's pretty strange for a small company. Generally, the companies have a lot of attrition, especially small companies, because they get poached by bigger companies because they got a good skill and they come with a very great package, a lot of experience. But our guys tend to stick with us, and a lot of guys been working with us for a long time, and we already hardly have any attrition. And next is like poor team effort. This is one of the things which I always address in my meetings, saying that none of us is smarter than all of us. Just to make sure that, you know, we all work in this together. For you to succeed, you need the help of the person everyone who is part of this team. So one person cannot go to the top without the others. So that's why in all my meetings I always say that guys, I'm not actually feeding you, your client is feeding you. So make sure that you're keeping him happy and listen to him and get things done on time. And same way, without the person next to you, you're not going to go to the top. So believe in your team, trust in your team, work with your team, and support your team at all times. Because these two things is basically what triggers a lot of emotions in office, guys. And next thing is like some of the do's and don'ts that I actually do within my company. One is like no politics, no gossips. So that's why strictly within my company, I don't really care what religion you're from. I don't care. And we don't talk about religion, and we don't talk about politics within the company. And because there is already going to be internal politics and gossips that we need to address. On top of it, we don't want people to like have their own set of views and visions coming out, and then people creating ideologies, and we don't want that here. We are here to make money. Let us focus on that. Let us be productive. Let us grow together. And next one is like learn to accept criticism. And some other factors that puts me off giving someone like a managerial position is basically if they are not very keen to accept criticism and feedback. And that's one of the important factor. I don't care if a guy is pretty intelligent, pretty smart, and technically very skilled. If he is not taking feedback, he is not good to be a manager. Every manager in my company, if you look at them, I want them to listen to when there is a problem. I will watch them. I will watch them in meetings. I will watch them how they respond to emails. And all of these things basically tells me that, okay, this guy is fit to be a manager because he listens to what the problem is. That's one of the important factor. And especially the problem is basically you. And because I faced and worked with a lot of companies where I had a lot of toxic managers as well. And one of the key things that I find with all those toxic managers is basically their narcissist behavior. They're not going to agree that they are having any fault in themselves. There is no flaws in them, and there is a problem in the project flow or anything like that. So always the blame is on others, and that is not going to work in a team environment. So that is why the managers that I actually choose to run a team is basically the person who listens to the team, who works with the team, and the team also truly believes in it. And next is like every time there is a conflict, every time there is a dispute of choosing which technology that we need to go flow and stuff like that, I always ask people to go and respond. Don't react, because it's not worth it. Because every time there is a conflict, if you react, and you're going to make a habit out of it, and then you're going to keep reacting to it. That's why, sometimes when you're actually kids, when you're upset, if you throw things out and things like that, when you're angry, you're shouting, that's the same habit that you're going to do it. The same, like the same thing if another person does, and if he's not having a habit of throwing things or shouting, every time he's angry, he's going to use a different methodology to express his anger, rather than, he's shouting or throwing things at. So that's why when you're upset, when you're angry, if you have some sort of way to express it, think about it. Like, do you want to do this the same thing for entire life? Every time you're angry, you're going to throw things out. Think about it. That's why I say, like, respond is better than react, and more cooler. And act on your weakness. So most of the time, one of the biggest weaknesses, like, we listen to our emotions pretty well, and we react to it, and we respond to it, and we follow it. The reason being is, like, if you look at it, guys, there is two ways that we can actually decide on certain things. Let's say you got to choose option 1 and option 2. You got an option, okay, based on my skill, based on my experience, based on my knowledge, I think the option 1 is good, but still I'm not able to pick it. Why? Because your emotions are actually choosing option 2. Now, most cases, what happens is, if you pick option 1, you might actually think that, okay, rationally, logically, this is the right choice for me, and this could be the career path that I need to choose it. But even if you choose that, you're not going to be happy, even probably the entire life, thinking, because the time when you took the decision, your emotions was on the actually other side. So it's one of the factors that we need to understand, that emotions and how to use it to get positive outcomes. So you have to make sure that your mind and body is pretty aligned, and your thought process is pretty aligned, so that the decisions whenever you take in your life is not actually something that your emotions are one side and your mind is on the other side. Another thing about emotions is, basically, it doesn't lie. Your intelligence can actually trick you. Intelligence might actually make you think that, okay, yeah, if you pick this one, you could be a great doctor, you could be a great engineer. It might actually trick you to say that. We don't know by fact that what the syllabus that we're going to deal with in engineering, we don't even know that. But engineering is going to be good for you. That's what the intelligence says. But within us, the emotions will strongly be against it. Intelligence and the emotions may not actually work very well. So now, in that case, you need to address your weakness, and you need to acknowledge it. And that's one important factor, guys. Whenever we have a weakness, if you don't acknowledge it, we're not going to fix it. So acknowledge it and fix it. And especially when your mind and body is not actually thinking together, your emotions are on one side, your mind is on one side, then you have to make sure that you put all three in together. And next is, like, have a clear workplace guidelines. This is one thing which I always tell my HR. Without a clear guidelines, it's hard to solve conflicts. It's hard to bring people and stand in the same line and work together as one team. So to solve that, please make sure that we have a good guidelines, and the guidelines address everything, and everything from, let's say, how people work, and how people work together, and how people resolve disputes, and what is the process, and how do they actually escalate it. Without an escalation, the conflicts, people are not going to be happy with one resolution. Okay, let's go and listen to another person. Let's see another person how he resolves. And if he says that I'm wrong too, then okay, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. If one person, he decides maybe he's not my favorite, like he thinks that I'm wrong because I'm not his favorite. So it could be a lot of other factors as well. And assertive and stress management in workplace is something that can help resolve emotion related issues as well. To improve emotional intelligence, you need to be pretty assertive. That's first thing. And second thing is, higher emotional intelligence will give you sort of like a relief on a day-to-day basis from a lot of stress that you handle, guys. So these things should be taught, and they should be practiced on a day-to-day basis from work. And next is like voice for your employees. Most of the time, people, when they get too frustrated and express their emotion in workplaces, because they're not heard and they're not seen. What am I doing here? So I'm just working for money, my own money. So I don't really give a shit about the company. So now these sort of stuff is something which will impact your company's productivity. So make sure that whenever someone works for a company, doesn't matter how big he is, he should have a channel to voice his opinions. It's a feedback channel directly to the CEO or to the HR, but make sure that it is a channel that works. It is a channel that responds back to them. It is a channel give them comfort, saying that yes, I'm listening to you, and I will address this issue. We will work together. We are a team together. Let us resolve this. Okay, that's about it, guys. And emotional intelligence is basically something that I actually use it on a day-to-day basis. And every time we do a task, we think about the client, and we'll make sure that, okay, the client is not anxious. Okay, the client is not upset. Client is not angry. I keep checking with all my projects, keep checking with all my clients, making sure they're happy. And same is with my staffs as well. And they're not actually running through a lot of emotions and stuff. So they're peacefully working, and we're all working together for greatness. All right, we'll see you again. Thank you, guys. Cheers.